I did post up we'll call it an original short on TikTok a little earlier. It's going to go live on YouTube in about a half hour, I think. Just to see if people like this sort of thing. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, check out the YouTube channel, hit the subscribe and notification button, all that kind of stuff, and check that out. It's just a quick, like, 15-second thing. Sometimes these ideas come to me, and I'm like, I should just start doing them. Grimes is now my second highest phobia. That's on par with Fire Ant at both level 13. Nice. Honestly, I don't think I've seen you use Grimes all that much, Forgo. Have we? I could be wrong. But let's get in there, chat. We're going to start off with a Kratosss breakdown. The game plan is from now on, I will always, unless barring something like Twitch eats the VOD or something, I will always post the game breakdowns onto YouTube after the fact, and I'm trying to get a quicker turnaround time. I have 2 loaded and ready to go. They're going to be going live tomorrow and Tuesday. They're like the 2 outstanding ones, and then that way people will have them, hopefully, with a quicker turnaround. The regular streams are not going to go up. I'm going to try and pull salient things out of them if it happens. Welcome back, everyone, to Random's Thoughts. It's Sunday nights. That means a viewer game breakdown night. Now, we have had a few other ones that have been scattered throughout the other streams, but Sunday night going forward is going to be the standard viewer game breakdown night, and we're going to be talking about a whole bunch of exciting games as we go through. Now, before we actually get into it, I do have to, of course, let everybody know that I am part of the content affiliate program, so the Phobies team does give me some compensation for producing Phobies content. But with that out of the way, let's jump into some viewer games. All right, so this is from Kratosss, our hero in the orange trunks. The notes are how to counter tank. You use tank. LOL. LOL. There weren't that many O's in the lol that was posted. I just felt like adding them. It was a little artistic license, if you will. So we're getting some jackalope action. Gotta love the pinwheel hat. It's always amusing. Makes me laugh. It's interesting the bad guy banked to 7 on this map. I'm kind of curious. We were talking a lot about on Mount Blight 2 nights ago, I believe, and different configurations for starters. And I think many of us were agreeing that, like, 1-1 cassowary or something similar is usually pretty good. But Kratosss here is going 1-1-1 plus the jar, which does allow our hero to, pressure certain things, but not really a pterodactyl. This is a level 10 pterodactyl. It's pretty significant. 540, so it will one-shot this jar. It's got to get the hell out of dodge. You're going to have to do some dancing in order to body block for it. Then again, if the pterodactyl decides to really get aggressive and come in, you could probably kill it with some things coming out of spawn and then collapsing on it. But we'll see how our hero handles this one. So big panic point advantage, or really our hero's jumping out to a big panic point advantage initially. I kind of like this follow-up. This is reasonable because, again, if the pterodactyl decides to invade, yes, it gets the jar. It's going to get yoinked onto the lava, which is very relevant because a Resurrect Phobie will die if it's on the lava. And clearly, being this close to spawn means that it's hypothetically dead. Now, the odd thing is, though, it still had almost 2k health. It's not unreasonable that this would have died, but it still seems like it's a lot. I didn't count it up, but we got, what, 200 here. This would be dead, so then we'll say 3, so 5, 7, and change. You got to get 1,200 damage out of 5 keys. It might have been safe. It might have been safe. It's unlikely that it is, but it's possible. But anyway, bad guy elects to instead try and stabilize some of the panic points, leaves the jar alive, backcapping points, and all of a sudden panic points are even. But one of them is this pocket one for our hero, so I anticipate that's going to switch over quickly. I don't know about anybody else, but that Henrietta feels faster. That Henrietta feels faster. Maybe it's just me. Get the Innocuous follow-up, something that I like to get online on this map, the entire Innocuous family. We were joking about it the other night. It really feels like you need to call up Will Smith and Jeff Goldblum and try and Independence Day this, because these aliens are dangerous. And on this map especially, because it's so wide open that Attractor, Innocuous, and arguably even Repeller just have huge sight lanes, like enormous arcs to cover the entire map. Now, this one's kind of tucked into the corner, but, I mean, you do what you got to do. In the meantime, bad guys electing to go Gravedigger. This seems kind of bold on this map. I can see the value because while it's very open, you could drop singular blocks to really create these choke points that's going to make your opponent's life awkward. No, this can't be a dead pterodactyl, is it really? Oh my god. I can't believe, like, hold on. I gotta rewind this. Wow, bad guy. Bad guy, I guess, just didn't see this coming. I have to imagine bad guy just did not see this coming. That there was no way that Kratosss was going to be this bold to just go after their pterodactyl. But ultimately, is Kratosss even risking anything? You get a yoink, and then you get the snipe. And because of the body block here, it's unlikely, even with 7 keys, that bad guy is going to be able to eliminate multiple salient threats. You're not going to get the Innocuous and the Spider, most likely. You're probably not even going to get the Jar, so we'll see what they elect to go after. So they're going for the Spider. Makes sense. But you're trading 5 keys for 7. Like, I think you have to be happy as Kratosss there. Now, here's what I was talking about. It's not necessarily creating a choke point here. It's instead locking off this choke point, which all but solidifies these 2 panic points. I don't know that the Gravedigger's really worth it, but it's a valiant attempt. Now, this is actually wild, because we're going to see a boom connection here. Noxious poisons the... excuse me, the Gravedigger. Boom goes in. Boom, baby. Maggie's going to get the takedown here. Yeah, not quite enough damage. Unfortunately, you don't get a great... I mean, the boom hit is solid, don't get me wrong. But not eliminating the Cyclops is a little unfortunate. This feels kind of bold. If you're going in like this... I don't know. This feels kind of aggressive because the Gonzo's on the board, but maybe it's not? Bad guy's general position is not great. That cannot possibly be the best way to exercise this turn. You start at this board state. I get wanting to save the Cyclops. Although, arguably, there's value in just letting it die so that it yoinks something in. So, like, just remove something. You can juice something with Gonzo. But it gets scooched up into range of, like, Kratos's entire team. You end the turn like this, and it's, okay, I'm offering up Gonzo to just get annihilated. This is going to be dead. Like, I don't know about this one. This seems weird. Okay, maybe not. Kratosss is choosing to go after the Gravedigger, take the easier kill. Maybe the math doesn't work out in a favorable way in order to take these 2 down. Ha! The Droney Assassin. You'll love to see it. Get a little Droney Assassin action. 4 panic points are now orange, evening them out. Get the follow-up and even a bank to 7. So 12 keys to 12 keys remaining, but clearly I would favor Kratos's board position. This Cyclops is going to be out of commission for some time. Now we get a body block from the Gator. But I think the game plan for Kratosss should be just cap these bottom points and then get out. You have a flyer. If you sack the 1 key, okay, fine. And then just use the Innocuous to try and snipe things. The problem is you have to be very careful simply because the Gonzo does mean that it's possible for bad guy to just snipe something. Namely, the Innocuous. Is this Jar not going to die? This Jar dies to just the Gator, and I don't think you have enough damage to kill this thing, given that you match the Gator with Gator. I guess if you're doing this. Bad guy now has to once again choose what are you going after. I imagine they're going to try and take the Innocuous. There's no way they kill anything. At least I don't think. Kill anything else, that is. And the problem with going in on this Innocuous is you're going to lose the jar. I think the Murder Wing alone... 544, yeah. The Murder Wing alone will snipe the jar. What does Bad Guys follow up after this? It's a Quagmire. So they have a very beefy team. So in this case, as long as... You have to, when you're playing Phobies, at least in my case, maybe you don't have to do this, but the way I kind of operate for Phobies is I reduce things to what gets me to the end state I want. In this case, it would probably be eliminate their little stuff so that they can't interact with the rest of my board. It's like, okay, you got Quagmire and Alligator, but there's not much else you can do because you can only be in so many places. And that's sort of what Kratosss is doing here. They're offering up the jar, sort of, because the Gator could walk over here onto the lava, but that means that you're getting these two with 2 hits. You get a hit from this, you'll get 2 hits from this. And while they both have no keys, look at this, now the Gator's on full retreat. All right, so now you just collapse on whatever they have remaining in cap panic points. Or not. I take it back. Kratosss is going little balls to the wall action here. Diving the Cyclops. Is Noxious live? I mean, the panic points, all but one are orange at this stage. Noxious is notably not live. The Quagmire cannot kill this jar alone, so this is a stable position for Jar to shell from, arguably. It's possible the Noxious dies, but again, you have an Alligator right on top of things. Yeah, 2 Quags, 2 Gators. That's not a common board state. Not a common board state. So this is clearly dead. The Gator can kill it pretty safely. And then you just kind of walk away from everything else. You don't even necessarily have to do anything. It's a whole lot of beef. Season pack is in 15 minutes? No, we already got them. If you log in now, you have access to it. So this is notable, getting that 1 hit. Why? Because then the Gator can get this other hit on Gonzo. Yes, you're going to end up losing this jar here, presumably. The smart play here, though, is that Kratosss put it directly on the panic point. This is a minor thing, but put it on the panic point. If you backed it up 1 more in any direction, that means that Quagmire could stand on the panic point and whack it. But instead, Quagmire's going to have to walk up to it. Point being, more orange panic points for longer. Bad Guy's already low on health. So yeah, this was the Battle of the Tanks. It was absolutely a heavyweight fight with all the regenerate Phobies on the board. And at this stage, it's just, I mean, you can do whatever. Pass turn, attack their stuff. It doesn't matter. Quagmire, yeah, it's just... This is a funny board state. And what's hilarious is I think I had something similar to this as a cover, like a thumbnail from someone else's game a while ago, where it was on the penny dropped, and then it had 2 Gators staring at each other on one end of the map and 2 Quagmires staring at each other on the other end of the map. It was pretty funny. But GG, Kratosss, well played. Yeah, a little tanky boy action. Yeah, tanky boy. My collection isn't even large, and I got dupes. I don't know how, but okay. I don't know what the odds are for the seasonal packs, but truthfully, dupes are probably better, depending on what they are. The actual Phobie upgrade cards and the XP very quickly become more relevant than getting new Phobies. Now, that being said, a variety of Phobies is important so that you can execute certain strategies. For example, if you just don't have a Yoink, or Xylo comes back in and they have a Yoink, you have a Yoink, but they suddenly have a second Yoink, you're in trouble, sort of thing. Or if you want certain lobs, or whatever it happens to be the linchpin for the strategy, it does matter, but it's not the end of the world. Starting to feel lucky. I always got new Phobies in 10 season packs. I think I've always gotten new Phobies as well, DT. I'd have to go back and look. I'm like 90% sure. 99% sure. 57 Phobies. Somebody asked me the other day, I have 106. But a lot of this is due to the fact that the devs have been giving me coffee for the content affiliate program. Realistically, so this comes up every once in a while. But somebody asked me yesterday, am I getting bored of Phobies? And no, I'm not. I still love Phobies. And I've talked about it before, that it's kind of ruined a lot of games for me, because it's like, well, I could do this, and I like a lot of things about this game, but I could just play Phobies. The thing is my approach to the game would be wildly different. Like, I would still be Sum of All Fears. I would probably push Sum of All Fears 2, like I typically do. I would have to put more effort into the game if the devs didn't give me the coffee because of phobie levels, because of phobie variety. Like, that's just obvious. And that's why when I complain about... It would be easy for me to say the game is fine economically. Because, like, look at this. I have 106 phobies. I'm at stress level, whatever, 74. I would be higher if I ever spent my XP. And I played more games and stuff, whatever. It would be easy for me to say that. But I really do have legitimate complaints about the economy. And I don't think that there's anything. Like, there's no two ways about it. I got burnt out bad grinding Sum of All Fears with stress level less than 40. I wonder if that's possible now. I take it back. I imagine it's possible. Yeah, we got Chuck. I kind of spoiled it a little bit. I was telling everybody to go check the VOD, but I'll probably pull the clip. We're just going to level up Chuck right now. Chat, we're clearly leveling Chuck. You can tell how much I pay attention to this stuff. This is not... I don't really... When I play card games, I know Phobies isn't really a card game, but to give you the comparison, when I play a card game and I'm serious about playing the card game, my strategy is just sink in enough money to literally get everything and not worry about it. I figure out the math once and then never look at it again because I don't care. I would just buy or trade for the things that I need so that I have play sets of whatever I need and that's it. And not have to dick around with it. Truthfully, Chuck is somewhat usable even at level 4. I could see it. I could see it. It's a little fragile, and I mean, the damage output isn't great, but the combination of the 3 range and everything, the lob, you know. We'll have to see. Yeah, Chuck, it's kind of bad when people have high collections. Yeah, dogewhal was trying to force it a lot against me, and my answer was always foul. My answer was always foul. I think Chuck is fine. Phobopolis, probably Opticon. Those sort of maps. Obviously, the lob is effective there. You can also sit back for obvious reasons and then protect multiple points. And it's going to be better, arguably, than Innocuous, except for the cost aspect, in which case you possibly would rather have just Hevo. Because it's like, okay, it's a lob, it's tankier. Because the thing is, even for Opticon, trying to position in certain areas could be difficult, and you may not necessarily be covering everything you want. We'll have to see. Crypto can be Chuck's playground. Yeah, wasn't Vasey pushing that for a while? I know somebody that was up there was doing it. Maybe Chuck can try to body block with mechs. Well, there's a lot of ways to do it. I was just pointing out the foul thing, because that was my answer to when... Because for a brief while, it wasn't just dogewhal, but there were a bunch of people with Chuck, and I was going up against them all the time. And I'm like, all right, I'm just going to foul. Be like, I'll sacrifice my 7 key for your 9 key, pull back. You know, like, I'll pull back, hold a panic point, because you can't safely invade. Especially because Chuck is slow. I'll lose my 7 key, but your Chuck is going to die. And that's all I care about, because you've invested so much time and tempo that I'll be able to then stage a comeback from there. Or at least that was the game. Anyway, so our hero here is Sivadas in the orange trunks here on Billy's Room. What are the notes for this game? The notes are, this is a full review of the Billy's Room game. Props to Pancake for supporting me in this win. First win against bad guy here. GG. All right, let's see what we've got. So this game also contains a highlight. No, it's not. It's against the same person for the highlight, but that's later. Never mind. I was just double checking the spreadsheet. Anyway, so we'll jump into this. Bad guy's going first. This is a common opener on this map. This is a common opener on this map, and This is kind of what I open. I have talked about doing the Gravedigger thing, and I think I want to explore that more, but I think you need Gravedigger on 1. Now, our hero here mirrors it, keeping the key banked. I don't recall if Sivadas has the Innocuous family, but we'll see what the 4th key is for. This is kind of interesting from Bad Guy. I guess there's not really anything to threaten the cat, though, right? You can get this pot shot with the jar, but there isn't really a great way for Sivadas to go kill it without risking losing it. Like, you could slide, what, the corn down, I guess? And then the corn dies to a combination of jar and corn, so... obviously, trap goes down there. We don't know if Sivadas placed a trap, but we'll see. Jar makes its long trek here. None of this is really surprising, but there is, in fact, a Innocuous. Now, also not surprising to be the broken record. I think it's pretty solid on this map. I wonder if my general crypto plan is viable for this map. I know I keep sidetracking things, but I've been really on this Gravedigger kick as of lately. Now, notably, Bad Guy has banked to 6, so we're looking at... Holy Christ. That's a level 19 jar. This is ridiculous. All this already seen feels like watching a chess game? What do you mean, Akune? Like, did you actually watch this replay, or are you saying you can predict how everything goes down from here? So yeah, about that level 19 jar. Level 18 Klepto, 18 Unicorn, 19 Razormouth. I mean, level 13 jar is pretty good, but it's not level 19. This is giving people a showcase of the levels here. I should probably do that with every phobie, but... Oof. Timeout. Can this, like... This is over 6. This is... No. I had to, like, triple check it to figure it out, but... all choices, Phobies position until now, all moves by the book. Yeah, this is pretty standard up to this point. Until the Klepto, I think. Unless Bad Guy happens to use Klepto in this now. Or B, the Gravedigger. The Gravedigger is a little out of the ordinary, but I do like it here. Breaking this block is salient, and honestly, maybe this is the way I should have gone when I was playing against Hordzz last night. So we get an Attractor as the follow-up. Bad Guy banked once again. This is pretty, you know. Only Sivadas Imprecision was the cat thing, but levels made it practically impossible. Yeah, at a certain point when you're talking about this level differential, it's kind of like, all right, well, you got my cat. Like, what am I going to do about that? So we're matching Attractors for when you absolutely want to have zero fun in a game. Drop double Attractor on the board, except no substitutes. This 1-0 panic point advantage is very silly. Very silly, but obviously good. Now, the thing is that... Oh my god, chat. Is this really going to happen? Is this really going to happen right now? Is there any way... Nah, probably can't set it up yet. Look at all these traps. You're just missing Repeller? Alright, so... Oh, we get the block. Okay. Okay. I was half expecting that we were going to get a break at some point, and then this Attractor / Innocuous were going to move in and then blow something up. But, instead, we're getting a break here. Or a creation, not a break. The break is what didn't happen. This does solidify this position. However, as you can see, this block is not long for the world. It's not just the Klepto. Like, there's a lot of ways that this thing can go down. That sounds like me last season, Kratosss. This is actually a weird position. So at this point, it's 1 key remaining for bad guy, 6 for our hero. How exactly does bad guy go in? At a certain point, they need to sacrifice something, right? I mean, they obviously have to. This is weird. I guess yoinking everything because you knew that the yoink was coming, so therefore it allows, or would have allowed, for the Ray Chargels to then get on the Innocuous, like to provide an original threat, so that way you can somewhat deter. But the game has been going on way too long at this point. You've had trappers on both sides. We saw this in a Hakune game yesterday, I believe, that you give a trapper enough time, and they're just going to coat the map in traps. So, yeah, there was probably a trap up here, and just like that, Unicorn goes down. Bad guy is able to cap a point. That's something. But the reason the trapper going down is relevant is, like, now they can't stage the invade or body block for this, and this drew a concession here. I have to pause so I can actually click on anything. So you can get the break here. This can move up and attack. This can move into range. This can move into range. This cannot. Can you kill the Ray Chargels? Ray was a mistake. Only needed a slow improvement of the position and panic point control. I guess. 16, so this would be 450. I'm just rounding. 7, 8, change. 11. Here's the thing, you can't even kill the Ray here. My highlight explains why he surrenders here back to back. Okay, so we need to watch the highlight to get the full story. This is interesting because this doesn't feel like an unwinnable position for bad guy here, right? Like, am I insane here? Because you can't kill the Ray. Panic points are even. Yes, you have 6 keys, but we're also talking about, like, an enormous level advantage. Like, an absolutely enormous level advantage. And this attractor is still live. So, like, if they move up, because this is down, you would not be able to advance, as in Sivadas would not be able to advance because of the threat from the attractor. And then they could stage an invade, hypothetically. I don't know. This is weird. This is weird. So let's take a look at the highlights so that way we can get a little more context to this. Last turn. So we're looking at a highlight here from Sivadas, which is back-to-back games against the same opponent, different maps. So we're skipping ahead to the last turn to try and get the highlight here. I mean, we can get a little bit of the game as we're going through. We do see a Chuck on the board. All right, so here's the last turn. What is the highlight here? Well, first, let's admire the board state, see if we can figure it out. What is happening? Because this informs the previous game breakdown as to why the concession was drawn. We get a Chuck stare down. We get Moffats on either side. Crushmore's on either side. There is a Baba Yaga, though. Anybody else see where this is probably going? Actually, no, that wouldn't work. You already see it, dogewhal? Well, I do see a Gonzo, too, so... yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I think I know where this one's going. Oh, baby. Oh, baby. Smother mother. Yeah, that's pretty unfortunate. Simply superior, Chuck. I'm telling you, you gotta be careful when you get Phobies with terror form and you get spiders, because bad things are gonna happen to you, and bad things happen to this Chuck. This man got sent into the Shadow Realm early. Maybe not that early, it's turn 16, but still. Ouchtown population Chuck number 1. Chuck number 2 is laughing about it still. I'm assuming he tilted and that's why the double surrender. Yeah, that's what I would bet on. Like, that seems reasonable. Gonzo barely had enough damage. Yeah, but it's enough damage. What level was this Chuck? Level 18 Chuck. This was a full health Chuck. But I mean, this is almost 900 damage a clip. That is, seems good. Seems good. I honestly thought there was going to be a trap involved. Like, that somehow Baba Yaga got a trap here, and that the trap was going to ignite, and then that was what killed Chuck, but seemingly not. But yeah, if you play somebody back-to-back like this, I could absolutely see some tilt happening. Your levels mean nothing against my power. You can beat the levels, it's just tough. It's tough. The thing about levels, and I know I do this when I'm playing sometimes, we've said on many occasions that levels allow you to make mistakes, right? Like, you can just make more mistakes because you have levels and your opponent can't always punish them. That will cause you to make mistakes that you wouldn't otherwise make. Whereas somebody who is under-leveled, and I'm not saying that this is in defense of the leveling system because I still think it's stupid, but somebody who is under-leveled and used to going up against people that are higher level than them, they are going to be likely way more cautious with their phobies. The other option is they could just tilt off the face of the earth and say, fuck this, I don't care anymore. But it's not unlikely that they get more cautious, and therefore they're looking for these opportunities more than somebody who's just bludgeoning people with levels. Just saying. Well played there, Sivadas. Well played. I'm looking into trying to play some Genesis BOC, chat. It reminds me of Anachronism, but with an actual deck, which is kind of cool. So I want to see how the platform works. It might be something I stream. I don't know. We'll see. I've been saying about that again, about Duelist, and just haven't gotten that in. Yeah, definitely, Sivadas. It's always fun getting those wins over people when you have a history with them. Definitely adds another layer to the game, right? All right, so our hero here is a dogewhal. You were the chosen one, Foul. All right, let's see what they've got. This one's actually from way back in ye old 2022. A bunch of these are actually from 2022. A bunch of these reviews, because they were pre-Christmas. Believe it or not. By the time this goes live, it'll be a couple weeks, but I'm hoping to get a quicker turnaround on these, as mentioned earlier, now that we've changed up the schedule. So our hero here is on an oddball plan, but bad guy is on an even odder one. Now, the thing about this is they could be banking to 8 to hit a beauty or something. I don't know that Gesundheit Pass is how I would do that. I'm also not real clear on the fly trap follow-up. This replay is a year ago. Crazy. It's true. It's old news. I mean, not really, but it's back when, oh, I swear to God, for a second, I thought Doge ended the turn and was going to leave the cassowary on the lava, and I was very confused. But Doge is instead appropriately moving the cassowary, 1-0 panic point advantage, and getting their own trapper online. Clearly presents a lot of different things. You have double turret now. It also allows you to try and combat some of the traps. We'll see how much that matters, but bad guy seems to have no interest in taking panic points, but they are at that magical 8 number. In fact, if I were Dogewhal, I would have said no, not put Bow Mangles here, because there's probably a beauty in my immediate future. Okay, it's not a beauty. It's in fact a boss. It's in fact boss. Also a very threatening 8-drop, but not a Blom 8-drop. For those that are uninitiated, Bwom would be the laser sound effect. Or pew pew, if you prefer. So we do get the foul. Do like the foul as a response. This is similar. We were talking about foul earlier, I think, in Kratosss' game, just because it came up in conversation. Oh, okay. I was going to say, bad guy, are you going to... You still can't body block here. So it came up with Kratosss because we were talking about how I've typically been answering, say, Chuck, or any... What I want in an answer phobie, this is to try and abstract it. If I want to answer a phobie, as in I want to put a phobie on the board to specifically counter my opponent's phobie, right? What am I looking for? Well, I want something that is ideally lower key cost and obviously good at the job in question. Now, an example of that would be foul into Chuck. It costs less. You can disease it, and yes, you have to dance a little bit around as the Chuck probably charges into your team, but you just wait a few turns and then Chuck keels over. Similarly, you can do the same thing here. You get the disease connected, and great, you have an answer. This seems like a very strong answer. I'm curious whether there is an odd turn of events due to the notes, but bad guy here didn't seem, we get a little giraffe bachelor action, bad guy doesn't seem very interested in preserving this boss, or they're willing to trade 8 for 7 here. Panic point advantage is for our hero. So, I mean, it'll trade out shortly, but our hero appropriately gets a cowbell online. So we do get the disease here. So boss is on a clock. Boss is suddenly mortal like the rest of us. The ravages of time will take their toll, as well as the ravages of this particular disease. But foul, you know, I guess there was treatment for foul as well. And Gonzo, okay, so here's where things might get messy. Boss has a couple of turns. It's taking 744 turns, so it doesn't have that long, but it has a few turns, depending on what dogewhal does. But the Gonzo means that an inbound you're fired could be very threatening. Now, this Venus, I guess, is dropping traps on the center. I mean, we saw one go off, which we talked about that before. I used to be of the opinion just throw it on the panic points, but now that, you know, most one-drops, I mean, they were always like this, but a lot of one-drops, due to the level differences on ladder, will just eat the traps. Often it's better. Oh, baby. Why? So we get a Clinico. Now, I imagine bad guy is well aware that this is not keeping the, like, it's not purging the disease. But, you know, the irony is that the foul got killed by Gesundheit. Them viri can be pretty ironic, huh? Sorry, just checking something. Sound cut out. So we get a Clinico to try and preserve this boss. Pterodactyl comes down. I'm always a big fan of Pterodactyl. Not always, but most of the time. Pterodactyl comes in, which means that you do have a persistent threat plus a decent turreting damage output. Bad guy doesn't seem to have any interest in capping these points. They're staging instead. Sure. The Gonzo's still around. And the boss is in position to make something happen. I have to imagine there's a trap here. There's not. Oh, no, this had to move too. The Venus had to move too. All right, so we're going to get the boss going in. That's a big you're fired. Cassowary is obviously toast. We're maybe going to get some popcorn out of this, and Bone Mangles also. It's getting a little too hot in the big tent. I was trying to think of, like, a circus cooking thing very quickly, and I couldn't. Panic point advantage going the other way. If foul is first player kills boss played by second player, the trade is simply equal, no mathematical advantage. Wait a second. I have to reread this. If foul as first player kills boss played by the second player, why is there no mathematical advantage there? I don't quite follow what you're saying, Akune. I mean, obviously, you're accounting for something else because it's... Are you saying, like, the fake one key... Like, you're paying an extra key, air quotes, for the foul because you're down one key to start? Second player had an extra key. I guess. Like, I kind of see what you're saying. I don't know if I would look at it that way. Like, that feels a little weird. I don't know. Well, let's continue. So, boss obviously goes down. We get a big pull here. Get a takedown here. The thing is that, yes, these are going to die. They're actually going to die, just the poison. So now it's Pterodactyl against the world. This actually isn't a fantastic position. Because obviously there was going to be a trap here at some stage. We do have a 1300 health Pterodactyl, so it's going to be challenging for bad guy to actually take it down. And this would have been their opportunity. But they're not really going to get one because nothing's going to really be in range. I forgot trap wouldn't stop the Venus trap. Yes. So bad guy appropriately goes with their own resurrect phobie. This makes sense. Yeah, at this stage, it just seems really rough for our hero. The big you're fired. Like, could you have... You poison. This happens. Trying to find the you're fired. There's the you're fired turn. I must have skipped past it. Yeah, truthfully, well, you needed 600 damage. So you could have... Yeah, there was no need to trap here for the obvious reasons. Because if you just hit this twice with the unicorn eats the boss. This moves up. You still kill this. I still think you're in a rough space. Like, that turn could have been better, but I don't know if that's really going to change the outcome of the game. Sorry, I just wanted to go back and look at that real quick. I think we were about here. Yeah, bad guy is in a fantastic position here, because they have more phobies than you, which obviously doesn't bode well for any resurrect phobies. Your choice of one key, while it makes sense to have an additional resurrect, so it's a little more sturdy, is never going to run down this daisy. Triple panic point advantage. There's really just no way for you to reclaim this at this point. I know we're skipping a little bit, but you choose to take out the Venus. Yeah, then bad guy takes it. So I do want to spend some more time looking at this. We're going to go back into this game, chat. Shout out to dogewhal, because they submitted a loss, and people typically are submitting their wins. Here's my cool play, and it didn't happen. So, chat's comments on this were, well, there were a few comments as to where the game could have gone differently. So, the right play of the opponent was accepting the trade in an even position. Gonzo, for only that moment, was bad. So, presumably you're talking about the you're fired turn. I'm not sure I agree with that, if that's what you're referring to. And I'll explain why once we can find that. I think it was 19. Okay. Can I get rid of the fire? This is annoying because I can't. There we go. It just bothers me that the fire was there. So this is the turn that Gonzo... Well, this goes in, you're fired. So it's 5, 6... Like, over 600 damage. If you're fired here, you lose the boss for nothing. Because these will tank the rest of it, I think. Now, this is compounded by a mistake that Doge makes like a turn or two later. I think the foul is a decent answer. Given that bad guy was trying to go all in on this boss, like clearly they were, given the Clinico, the attempt at the healing spa, the setup with the Gonzo, that sort of thing. This feels like dogewhal was in control of the game, obviously, until the end here. So, I don't agree with the idea that Gonzo for this one-off you're fired was a mistake, because I think they had to do it. Otherwise, the cassowary survives this, and just almost that alone kills the boss. Which means, like, if that were the case, because this is 1,000 damage, the cassowary alone kills the boss. So then Bowmangles can move down here to heal, and the unicorn rotates, and we're looking at a wildly different game. Unless I'm misunderstanding the comment that was posted. Now, the other mistake that comes in, or the one that I was alluding to, not that this was really a mistake, is this. And dogewhal even said this while we were watching the game. So, dogewhal had stated they didn't really know why they put the trap here, because it was never going to positively impact what we see at the end of this turn. But yes, chat's calling out, and I think I said it while the game was live, instead of going in with this Bowmangles hit, because this is a 600 health, hence why the cassowary living would have been very significant. This is a 600 health boss, 600 and change. And remember, both the Bowmangles and the unicorn would have another 327 health here. So the unicorn would have to retreat to here, but it's not going to die to the cassowary hit, right? So let me first explain why the Gonzo was relevant, or why I think it was necessary. And I may be beating up a straw man because I may be misinterpreting what the other comment was. But if the cassowary is alive, you kill the boss, you kill this, you kill the Gesundheit, because you can still fly this up. The Bowmangles moves up. Remember, it has another 300 health, so it's going to eat the fire damage and probably live through all of this, and it doesn't matter. And then suddenly it's 1, 2, 3 Phobies off the board. So it's Gonzo, Venus, and whatever bad guy puts on the board versus Unicorn. Possibly there's a trap where the Clinico is, so maybe Unicorn's dead. Bowmangles and Pterodactyl, and then plus a 1-drop. Is that enough? I don't know. But you could also play it differently and play it more safely. Like, you don't necessarily have to go after this if you leave that alive. You could instead slide down the Bowmangles and keep this, and then try and kill off the Venus. And then, okay, what are you going to do? Gesundheit my Pterodactyl? Who cares? Point is that I think the Gonzo was very relevant and absolutely necessary here. Now, the positioning from dogewhal could have been different to try and dodge this, but I could see why you thought that you'd be okay. And even in this scenario, as this is the second thing, on this turn, you kill the boss with just the unicorn. It's 30 health. It's clearly toast anyway. And then the Bowmangles still slides down and possibly still kill Venus. The Bowmangles will tank a single hit from the Gesundheit. The only way they then kill Bowmangles is if they bring in Clinico, which dies to the lava. So they probably pull Clinico back, probably stick it on the healing spa. If this comes in, it's not killing the Bowmangles, which means Bowmangles now makes it to the healing spa, and you're free to start recapping, potentially, with the Pterodactyl. I think you're still in a rough spot because it's Clinico, Gesundheit, Venus, who's still laying traps, Gonzo, and help. So, as far as actual mistakes, like, let's assume that bad guy does all of the stuff the same. What could you have done differently to try and get out of this position? I think the foul was correct. Or at least it's fine. Maybe it isn't correct. But I think the foul is valuable. These 1-drops here, that's fine. You're eating some traps. The only thing that I could think is you either need to be more aggressive onto the boss to try and take it out sooner. So that would necessitate positioning the cassowary in different places so that way you could try and get at it. So that it goes, because the cassowary is the one you'd be willing to sacrifice. The other option is you need to just accept, like, don't allow this "you're fired" to happen. So the cassowary needs to be, like, back here, which seems insane, but time is on your side. They have to commit into you because of the panic point advantage. They have to commit into you because the boss is going to die. The third thing that could be different is, while I like Pterodactyl, maybe that wasn't the answer here. Maybe it's just don't invest so heavily in a singular phobie here. Because you could have hypothetically gotten, you know, if you have 8 keys remaining, it's a 4, a 3, and a 1. It's a 4, a 2, and a 1. Or a 2 and a 2. It's a 3, 3, 2. Or, you know, a variety of different setups. Because then you're fighting whatever the remaining things are. Because you're operating under the assumption that boss is dead. And if you're assuming boss is dead, then you just have to clean up the other stuff. But chat, what do you think? And YouTube, what do you think? Let me know down in the comments. What do you think could have gone differently for our hero here that would have taken the win for them? Other than, well, the bad guy just made a bunch of mistakes. That sort of thing. But yeah, Doge, I think, like, there's a few different things that could have gone differently. I think you had a generally acceptable game plan. Arguably, you could have gone... I don't know. I don't... did Hakune respond? I don't know if Hakune is still in chat. I'm curious what they meant with the Gonzo thing, because I think the Gonzo was pivotal. If the Gonzo wasn't there, I think you win that game. All right, so this is another loss that was submitted. So our hero here is Hordzz in the blue trunks here on Mysomania, but pay attention to the notes here, YouTube. I lost this game, but I want you to see you commentate my opponent's plays, because even though I was throwing by trying new strategies, it played and adapted very well to my moves. Also, his Moly Bully plays maybe level up my Moly because of the insane value he got from it on Mysomania. Well, I do like seeing some good Moly Bully plays, so let's see what you got, Hordzz. Let's see what you got. Ooh, we get a little bad omen start. Now, Hordzz, I know, was mentioning, or I'm pretty, like 90% sure it was Hordzz saying in Twitch chat, which, by the way, if you're watching this on YouTube, hit up the links in the description, as well as the likes and subscribes. Definitely help me out, because trying to hit 1,000 subs. But I'm pretty sure Hordzz was saying they weren't a huge fan of Bad Omen, but we do see the Bad Omen opener here. Notably, we get a bank to 7, so I assume Hordzz has something in mind, but we immediately see the Moly Bully, who is getting a big ol' stretch there. Big ol' stretch. But immediate cap here. And on this sort of map, it makes sense because, I mean, our hero here did not open Gravedigger, so there's no easy way to threaten this Moly Bully. Alright, this is already weird, but Hordzz did mention that they were semi-throwing because they're trying out new stuff. I don't, like, 1, 2, 3, 4... I get putting the Fire Ant down early. Sending it up top seems weird, because it's out of commission for not just the turn where it goes up there, but the follow-up turn. It's just going to be nowhere near the action. And in the meantime, bad guy is now deploying a Gravedigger, following up with the Moly Bully down here on the spa. I actually really like this, because the Moly Bully can get in as many hits as it wants and get out pretty safely. Now, you do have to be cognizant of the fact that there's a jar here, or potential for a jar. But like, look, you just get out. The only thing I don't like about this positioning is the cat is body blocking you. The cat probably should have been moved, because this means that the Bad Omen can come down. However, are you really going to send in Bad Omen into all of this? I don't think so. So bad guy's following it up with Poison Ivy, presumably as a pseudo counter to the Fire Ant. That's a pretty cool trap position, especially given the AoE nature. I can appreciate that. I do like the body block here from the Bad Omen. You could probably get more value out of it somewhere on the board, but having the more mobile Murder Wing flying around makes sense. And we get the follow-up Blasto. That's interesting. Yeah, this Moly Bully, I'm mostly focusing on it because it was in the notes, but it is very curious. Panic point advantage is in bad guy's favor. I assume there's a trap on the stim at this point, or the panic point at this point. So how is our hero going to try and take the center point back? Because you do have to make moves at some point. You have plenty of time. It's a big map. It's not like you're taking a ton of damage. Now, this is somewhat bold by bad guy. I feel like they're taking their life in their hands here. This is a 400 and change trap, which means that this will die because it'll pop, deal the damage, deal the fire damage, and then on Horde's turn, it'll also deal fire damage. So it's possible there's a trap here unless bad guy is just predicting that this is where the trap is. Because remember, Hordes had this fire ant in a fairly aggressive forward position. And notably, bad guy didn't really make a whole lot of effort to shoo it away. Hordes pulled it back on their own. So we get a crush more, so we have double terraform. Get the block break here. This is going to open it up, so now Hordes can actually do the one key trading thing. We end up doing doubles today. I do think my double's a good one, if you remember that Cerberus falling into the pit. All right. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're getting panic points. Traps getting traded out. Bad Omen gets let out of jail early. Gravedigger goes in. I don't know about this one. I mean, I get putting stuff here to a degree, but they don't have to be. Like, you don't need to let the Bad Omen tank that hit. At the same time, since bad guy didn't follow it up, does it matter? I mean, this is still it's a level 15 Bad Omen, so it still has 500 health. And clearly the Blasto just shakes it off and doesn't care. This is exactly what I thought would happen. This is just going to rotate. This was taking damage, so it rotates. We're inching up Ted, who should probably be here by now, I would think. Is the erratic going to go for it? They're not. So there's a couple things here. Bad guy is clearly setting up this break so that they can get the erratic on the stim and just light this up. Or maybe they don't even need necessarily to break it. This is going to force the Blasto away. This also protects it so that way either the Blasto has to expose itself now or there's just no way to really get at this at the moment. They're playing it very patiently, which is contrary. I had a different thought, but we'll come back to it. Bad guys playing this very patiently compared to a lot of the bad guys that we've seen over the last few reviews on this map, where our hero was in a losing position, and then all of a sudden bad guy just said, nope, I'm going in. Hold my beer. And then just punted the game away. Bad guy, in this case, instead, is playing it pretty defensively. They do have counter Phobies on the board, and are electing to, they're going to take control when they need to take control. Now, one thing that's a little weird here is it might have been worth a try keep the... Wait, what? Okay, a few weird things. One, I would have thought maybe keep the Bad Omen in a position so that it could connect with the erratic just as a power down. Maybe that doesn't matter. This is still in range of the stim here. It's also going to be a range of this and this. It's probably not enough to deal 3,600 damage, but threatening. This rolled up, so I guess the game plan here is you're just going to try and annihilate the erratic. Like, this is come at me, bro. And hoping that they don't do it. But they might be able to just get in there and zap this thing enough. Can Frozen Phobies be booped or pulled? I believe they can. I know you can with the road cone. So yeah, bad guy goes in 1,200 damage to this. This is not going to be enough to kill it. But I mean, this is a significant hit. This is a significant hit. So we'll see what the damage is at the end of the turn. The Ted goes down. This will help clear these out, but it doesn't matter. 10 keys remaining to 16. So what do we got here? This is a 1,200 health Blasto. I don't even know that it can attack here, because you need to clear out literally all 4 of these, and I don't think you can do that. There's just no way. You could send Jar here. You could send out a Snowball. Those are the only things that will reach from this position to interact with these. This gets 2 hits. This gets 2 hits. This can get a hit / power down. This could get 1 hit, but that means that the Bad Omen is not connecting. And the Blasto could get like a laser. But I think Blasto has to just run for its life unless you're willing to sacrifice it. And if you get the 4 of these, I think you sacrifice Blasto. I just don't think you get the 4 of them. Obviously, the Fire Ant has to move. Yeah, so I don't know if our hero here had tried that stuff out. Like, tried the different combinations, but they elected to just get the hell out of Dodge. And I can't really blame them. So we do get the Bad Omen power down, but this is not... It matters. It matters. But does it matter enough? I'm not quite sure. Because obviously we have the Erratic on the stem, plus a bunch of other things. I think this and this go down. Like, presumably this is going to die. So the Yeti coming out is interesting. I get potentially freezing the Erratic. That seems strange. But yeah, the Moly Bully has actually presented some unique scenarios here. And overall, I don't want to say 100% of the time I try and answer Blasto with Erratic, but it hasn't been bad as an answer. It hasn't been bad as an answer. So I don't hate it here. So our hero is out of keys at this point, and truthfully, like, this game is arguably over. There's still 13 keys. Yes, Panic Point advantage is for our hero, but there's lots of ways that, like, this Fire Ant probably dies this turn. The Blasto could hypothetically die this turn. Well, not hypothetically. It's going to be 2k. Well, this is also powered down, so it's going to... So the Blasto should not die, but I guess it isn't impossible. This is a cute play, dropping the trap under the Frozen Phobie, so it's going to go off. It will thaw the Poison Ivy, but... And just because people are going to ask, 622 will check the health after the trap goes off. I'm pretty sure it takes the fire damage. The bad guy's pulling back, and they absolutely can. They have more keys. They can just send stuff in, and eventually, you know, our hero has to overcommit. They don't have much of a choice. So 177 there. And there's the fire damage, because inevitably somebody's going to ask, well, does the Frozen Phobie take the fire damage? Yes, it does. There you go. Although it also thawed the Phobie, as mentioned. So, the Poison Ivy goes down. Since there are no keys for our hero, yeah, they have to play it somewhat defensively. They do have a little bit of time, still over 4,500 health. But I can definitely see, given the notes and what we're witnessing, that our hero was kind of put off by the Moly Bully mobility because it was threatening so much. Burrow is an underutilized, underappreciated, I guess, movement ability. Now, the Boo Fairy here is weird. Level 6 Boo Fairy. That's weird. I don't know about that one. So we do get a block, but there's 3 Phobies in range for this. So the Daisy's in range, the Erratic is technically in range, and the Jar's in range. And, I guess, the Snowball and Murder... Yeah, like, everything but Moly Bully can hit this guy right now. So the only real question is, does this Rushmore die this turn? Now that the Erratic is back on the stem, the only real factor is whether this Yeti is going to be able to get a freeze. The irony is this trap is going to go off and it's going to damage the Yeti. Got a little cheese pizza there, Taco? Nice. If I'm going to take Moly, usually I'd take Blinky instead, a little less HP, but you can stand on walls. I think it depends on the damage output. Because I think Moly has significantly higher damage output. Maybe not significantly, but I'm pretty sure it's higher. So bad guy notably does not put the jar onto the stem, which prevents the Blasto from hitting it. Although here, if you were going to bring the Boo Fairy in, you might as well. And obviously at this point, we're watching the end. Can Erratic win 1v1 against Blasto? I don't know. I think somebody said that it can. If they just stand and man fight. And they're the same level or something, but I don't know if that's true. Now, this was a cool Blom from our hero. Got the triple here, because even the cassowary gets tagged. Yeah, hordzz said this was a loss. hordzz said this was a loss. I still don't really understand the Boo Fairy, but I guess bad guy felt that they were so far ahead that it kind of didn't matter. There's an argument for Boo Fairy so you can turn down the Blasto and then you can really ignore it, but... But I think the mobility afforded by the... Hold on, I kind of want to pause this on and use this as the thumbnail, chat. That's why I want to go back. We're just waiting for the ability. Oh, stop zooming. I need a way to freeze the camera. I want to use this for the thumbnail. Legos are the most annoying thing to make scenes out of all toys, in my opinion, because I just did, and it was very annoying. Yeah, I can't build Legos anymore. They just annoy the shit out of me. I realized that years ago. But yeah, bad guy, the Moly plays were very interesting. I actually think that's potentially a viable... my jaw dropped. My guaranteed SR for my first Dreadful was Beauty. That's pretty good. But I think the Moly plays, and Moly has potential on this map. I'd be willing to experiment with it, just because I like Moly Bully. Blinky, obviously, is another potential alternative, but here's the thing. Blinky does something on this map, since people were bringing it up, or rather, Moly does something that Blinky cannot, and that's notably stand effectively on the Hitling spot. Your opponent needs to expend effort to eliminate the Moly. They don't necessarily have to get the Blinky. I mean, they do. They can't just trivially kill it, but it's going to end up sitting on the spot and healing, as compared to the other ones. So... honestly, I think it's the Erratic play. Like, the Erratic put in a lot of work. I think there were mistakes made by hordzz throughout the game just from positional errors where, and I'm not intending this to sound insulting, hordzz, but you were making mistakes like I do, where it's like, when I'm streaming, if I'm being lazy about positioning or things like that, it may be that once you hit a certain point in the game, even before this, that you had said, oh, well, I've probably lost this anyway, I'm just going to do whatever. And I can absolutely understand that mindset. But it felt like, yeah, you kind of threw it away. I don't think you were in a bad position. I didn't like the fire ant to the top. I kind of get why it did. But I'd almost rather wait on capping the panic point and send a 1 key up there whenever. And then immediately start getting traps or hits, either traps in the center or hits on the Gravedigger or whatever. That way you can do something a little more relevant quicker. But yeah, bad guy stuff, since the focus is there, I don't know how they dodged this trap here for so long, but they did. And I think if that trap was activated at any point prior to when it was, it could have drastically changed the game. Notably, like, the jar would have been dead. Other things would have been significantly damaged. The Moly Bully was cute, and I think it was more exerting soft power than actually doing something. Like, it definitely hit stuff, but I don't know how relevant it truly was as compared to the threat of the Moly Bully. There weren't too many significant Ivy traps. I think there were some missed opportunities from bad guy as well to possibly beat up some other stuff. Maybe not. Oh, excuse me. But yeah, GG, well played. Credit where credit is due. Bad guy definitely came out with something unique, but pretty cool. Honestly, I can understand the Boo Fairy rather than just playing because I'm going to win. High melee damage, basically a complete damage nullify with the ability to guarantee blast die. The thing is, I think any relevant 6-drop or even multiple smaller drops probably does the same thing, just because if you have the damage output, like, okay, say you went Klepto. Klepto probably doesn't output enough damage, but it gives you more positional advantages rather than having to walk it all the way up. I mean, it's fine. I don't hate it. It definitely was successful for obvious reasons, but yeah, the Moly plays, I think, were pretty cool. I think the Moly plays were pretty cool. Just constantly being a nuisance is kind of what it amounted to. Because the Moly was always like, hey, you have to account for me just sliding in there and blowing you up. All right, so our hero here, once again, on Mysomania in the blue trunks is Urkevina. I'm level 43, and bad guy is 72. Also, Graylien doing the usual double swap. He ran out of time on turn 12. All right, let's see. So Urk is now, we've looked at a number of Urk games. I'm the only one who has, what, the Jin Sting icon? Yeah, Jin Sting icon probably isn't that popular, if that's what you're talking about. But yeah, Urk we've commented on a number of times that this opener is kind of unique, and Urk is basically the only person I've seen doing it. But bad guy is also doing something a little odd, opening with Jar. I mean, sure. You can slide it right onto the stem. Notably, it's a level 13 Jar, so it won't die 1-to-1 with the Cassowary. The Cassowary is going to need help, which is going to make our hero's life very complicated. As mentioned in the notes, significant level differential here. Jin Sting, Sheep and Gas Gonzo is a rare avatar to see. There's so many other rare avatars. I mean, there's a lot of avatars. There's a lot of avatars. And, yeah, we've had that talk a lot. We've talked about that a lot. We don't need to rehash that one, but I think the avatars should be significantly easier to acquire. So we're going with what is now quickly becoming what I'll call the patented Urk opener. Because I distinctly remember asking, I mean, maybe the Jar wasn't in that previously, but the Venus and stuff, absolutely things that I asked about previously. And I'm like, why are you doing that? The bad guy is now getting pretty aggressive with this Klepto, but it has time. You know, it's like, I'll get this free hit. What are you going to do? Hit me back with a Jar? Okay, who cares? And the other problem is, depending on, you have to protect the Jar if you leave it there, because otherwise the Klepto slides up onto your, there we go, the Boomer comes in. It would slide up onto the stem, and then bad times for you. His Quag was scary because of the level. Level 11 Quag is pretty big. It's pretty big. I think that's about where mine is. Gesundheit is the follow-up. Getting a little beating going down on this Venus. I don't know about that. Like, there's no way for you to kill this thing, right? Oh, no. Really? What was this damaged from? Okay. So it took damage, like, way earlier. So, bad guy is able to occupy our hero's stem, but with a meager 1,100 health, almost 1,200 health. Oh my god. Ah! How often do you see that? Oh, good lord. We're gonna have to clip this one, chat. I just want to see the whole turn. And this was pretty well played as far as, like, okay, I can leave the spare damage. Alright, so this is one of those turns that you just have to laugh about, because this is actually pretty cool. Urk is a resident Graylien enjoyer, we'll say. But chat's coming up with nicknames for this particular play already. So we get a little old switcheroo, dropping your favorite snot monster and mine onto the lava, and look at that, we get a little AWOL coming out here, dropping the toe. Venus, chomp, chomp, Follow-up chomps from Cassowary, jar hits, notably leaving this Quagmire at just a sliver of health so it'll die to lava. Also get a quick takedown on the Contortio. Well done, Urk. Well done. Should have moved the jar, would have died anyway. Well, the thing is, if you move the jar back here, they have to come in even further. Yeah, the jar should have been moved, because then the Klepto has to come and chase, if that's what you meant. So bad guy here is following up with a Hevo. This is weird. It's a weird visual bug, I'm going to call it, in replays where Bluelian and Graylian look like they just teleport from A to B if they do a double move in the replay. It's pretty cool, though, that it does that. All right, we're getting this is becoming another Urk regular. All right, so this is the turn where Urk was saying bad guy runs out of time. All right, we don't have that off cooldown yet. Oh, no. Bad guy. Oh, that's brutal. That's brutal. Yeah, I know it's always like that in the replay, Onda. That's why I was calling it out. I think it looks cool, truthfully. Yeah, like, you're just going to get this Klepto for free. We'll see if that is the game. I mean, obviously, that's a significant, like, that changes the game significantly. And they could have clearly killed it. It didn't even have to be the Klepto. It could have been Klepto in this. It could have been this twice. It could have been Jar. It could have been a bunch of things. I accidentally skipped forward. Dozer inching his fat butt all the way up there. We're getting closer to another Switcher U. And we get a follow-up Ray Chargels. I like it here on the healing spot. Threatens both of these. Bad guy still has 15 keys to only 6 for our hero, but panic point advantage for our hero. It's going to be very difficult for bad guy to get in there and make a difference. This, I imagine, is supposed to be bait, but, like, I don't know. Maybe bad guy is just tilting, because this does not seem like you're going to lose the jar here for freezies. Chuck and Boomer are the follow-up. Still one more turn on Switcher U, so not there yet. Not quite there yet. Dozer just no fear. Zero fear, just sniping the jar. Obviously, this creep is not long for the world. The Dozer is... So for anybody wondering, this is a level 6 Dozer, has almost 3,500 health. Still over, I mean, it'll be under 3k after the poison tick. But this is going to tank out this turn, or should. Oh, we get a little Bluelian. Have to wonder if the positioning could have been different so that you could get the spa under the Dozer, but... Got bad news for you there. So, the Evo does get a juicy hit here, both off the stim and a double hit. So, significant amount of damage going down, and Hevo 1.0 is the final phobie for bad guy. Stay Puft Marshmallows Man, little brother said he doesn't get the same recognition. True. He's a little upset. Always living in the big brother's shadow. So the trap allows for a little bit easier time trying to take this down. And here we get Switcher U number 2. Urk. What a monster. Urk, you absolute monster. Was this necessary? I guess it was, yeah. Urk is an absolute monster with these Graylian Switcher U's. You love to see it. We got an earlier trap hit to help soften up this Boomer. It clears it out so that now you get line of sight, and all of a sudden that Hevo has a lot of new friends. And with friends like these, Who needs enemies? This whole team is just absolutely laying the smackdown onto this Hevo. It's even standing on the lava, but it is what it is. Even get to retreat the Dozer. Man, Urk, what a monster with these Graylian plays. As an aside, chat, I guarantee TikTok will give me a community violation because of things that I said when I post that clip. Because I'm noticing, like, I posted a Menace clip, because I've gotten 2 so far as of today, and the Menace clip was something like, how did I put it? This is an old clip, and it was something like, you may have to turn away because this is about to get extremely violent, or something like that. Community violation. I have a feeling that one of the ways they check it is they check the dialogue for certain keywords. Point is we may have to alter the vocabulary. So Graylian does go down, but Graylian got 2 Switcher U's. Reality is that's pretty brutal. Reality is that's pretty brutal. We even get the Dozer heal here. How much health does Dozer have at this point? Ooh, Dozer was hurting. Dozer was hurting. Our hero does still have 1 key remaining, though, and once they recap this point, bad guy can basically never get it back. At least I don't expect them to. Graylian almost survived? Almost. But almost counts. Almost only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades. Them's the facts. Probably could have put the Bachelor here, but I guess it doesn't matter. This is bold bad guy, but I don't think it... This game is over. This game is over. Extremely destructive. Yeah, I'm going to have to go with the whole unalive thing, right? We'll see. If that clip gets flagged, then we'll have to... Then we know, right? If that clip gets flagged, we know. Yeah, bad guy's in trouble here. There's real... Wait. Is anybody else noticing, like, a red spot on Bluelian's head? As part of the idle animation? Did anybody else see that? Oh, no. SpaghettiOs. Isn't it uh-oh SpaghettiOs? I don't remember. Chuck against the world. I don't think it's happening. How do I know? The BM healing spa. That's his brain, his massive IQ. He does have a big dome. He has a giant dome piece. GG. Well done. Well done there, Urk. And that, you know, like we were talking about before, we've had a couple games tonight where you can beat the levels. It's tough. I mean, realistically, the Graylian had some great pulls. Bad guy, I think, overextended. Plus that one turn. If you take a turn off like that was brutal. If they had acted on that turn and kept the Klepto alive, it could have changed things significantly. Like, just dropping that turn. And I have to wonder if, morale-wise, psychologically, bad guy just said, I'm done. Alright, we got a pancake game. Alright, our hero here is Pancake in the blue trunks on Opticon. I don't even know what to say. Really. I'm sure I'll have something to say. I usually do. Yeah, I mean, I think that's what the algorithm is worried about, Taco. Here's some healing spa because you tried. Hey, Pancake, welcome. Hey, Big She, what's good? What's good? You furked Graylian like 4 to 6 times in crypto. How did the game go so long that you were able to furk it 4 to 6 times? That's insane. So we're getting some weird openers here. That's a lot of 1-drops out of bad guy. That's a lot of 1-drops. Staring game. I mean, it's crypto. I could see that. All right, so we get a little, hairy guy. He's just a little hairy guy. He's a little guy. And we get a sheep is the answer? All right, I'm now... Question marks are starting to rise in my head, chat. Like, you know what I kind of want to do? You know how Looney Tunes, like Wile E. Coyote and the Roadrunner, and every time Wile E. would end up going off a cliff or something, he would hold up a sign and just be like, yikes! I kind of want to get that with one, just like a bunch of question marks for whenever we get plays like this. Because I don't, like, seriously, why is this sheep here? Why is this sheep here? Yeah, there are New Point redemptions. Blue's dome looking like the crystal skull from Indiana Jones. I never actually saw that one. You know, there's going to be another one. There's going to be an Indiana 6. I don't think anyone is beating my record of destroying 21 enemy keys with Grayley 3-switcher use. I don't think I'm beating that. Oh, ye of little faith. All right, we're going with Team Disease here. Or Team Slow Death, I guess. Sheep and fowl. I don't really understand this. Yeah, big brain is appropriate. You should have had it last game for the Bluelian and Graylien. I mean, I know that's why it was there, but... All we need is bad guy to, like, funky chicken the cat or something. So we do get a Hevo 2.0. Obviously, some sort of mechanical had to come out to try and set this up. I don't know about that trap location, but, I mean, realistically, it's fine. If we see double trap activation in one turn, it'll be hilarious, though. Cat goes down pretty easily. A lot of damage coming out of this. Panic points are once again in favor of bad guy, but this time there's not a lot for our hero to follow up with as far as, okay, I can immediately recap this point. Ooh, a spider coming in. So yeah, poison, disease. This is going to get messy. I want to see a pixelated phobie, like new phobie that with a pixel body would be cool, I guess, since attack animation, spawn animation, other animation is amazing. That would be interesting. I kind of like the idea of one where you kind of like Fire Ant, where you can't really see the body. So picture Sasquatch that has invisibility, but imagine the phobie is kind of like phasing in and out of existence, so you never see the full picture. I mean, Klepto's sort of like that because it's covered in fur. I just want a different take on it. The cats are the only phobies that don't have idle animation, just like a 3-second loop. Interesting. I mean, they kind of have an idle animation because you can see their fur moving. I mean, I hear what you're saying. Trap hallway, yep. So this is interesting. Because this is not going to be a dead fowl, right? So the fowl absolutely can still come in and tag this, this Fire Ant, which means that you're trading 7 keys for 7 keys. I mean, you'll get another trap out of it or so. That's interesting they walked all the way up, but I mean, I guess it makes sense. I don't disagree with what bad guy's doing here. Oh, that's kind of interesting that they actually yoinked the boom in order to clear it out. Yeah, I agree, Urk. It's not as extensive as an idle animation. Imagine a phobie that can pick up a trap and lob it. That would actually be kind of cute. So we get Klepto as the follow-up. I mean, our hero is hanging in there. I say hanging in there, but 7,200 health, they're not under a ton of pressure. It's really just... So if we say it's these three versus this team, that's not bad. And inevitably, these traps are going to do something, right? And you'll get another trap out of this. They're probably not going to put in the effort to try and kill the Fire Ant right now. As you can tell, they're walking away. Honey Bear is very interesting. I imagine bad guys doing this in order to try and counteract the traps. Okay, we are... Pancake, you're in chat. What are you doing here? Like, this is the trap corridor. This is like in the Resident Evil movie where they have to go through all those traps in just like a straight line. Speaking of fire-breathing phobies, Barzilla, have you ever seen gameplay of Puff? I've seen it once. Seen it once. So is this supposed to, like, tempt bad guy into coming in here? Yeah, I don't know about that. Pancake, I don't know about that one. That's like a free klepto right there. This has to be a dead klepto, right? Yeah, jar. Ooh. That's painful. Now, was this bait? Yeah, okay, I'm seeing it in chat now. Because I was about to call this out about the Noxious. And, like, Noxious into... Well, come on, game. Noxious and Boop are live. Oh, I thought you were going to lay another trap, and that would have been hilarious. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So they could get a healing phobie. I just want to get to the end of this turn because I have a funny comment. I'm going to use it as a clip. Oh, wait, we got to do this. So this is a series of 2 turns in this game replay where we'll see, because we haven't... let me rephrase this. All right. So this is a series of 2 turns from this gameplay. I can't talk, chat. 3rd time's a charm. We'll get it this time. This is a series of 2 turns from our hero here, Pancake, that starts off by something that you don't think is going to be very good. They allow this klepto to get yoinked by the spider, but you may have noticed that there's a specific dragon sporting, well, ironically enough, the Random's Thoughts colors, and that's Noxious. This is one of those aesthetically pleasing things to me when I play Phobies that I really just enjoy. Because we're going to get this klepto taken down. It's like, oh man, I just lost this klepto. That was very silly. But we get this Noxious hit that's just like, blam! That feels fantastic. There's a little bit more to go with this story, though. We get the Panic Point recaps, and then, boop! Almost the whole team. Like, that feels awesome. Zorark, thank you for the follow. Welcome. This move is the whole reason for the submission? Fair. I could see that. I could see that. That's a lot of poison. What's my opinion on a glitchy-looking phobia? It's on theme of video games, a pixelated phobia idea. I could see that, like a computer. Are you talking like a virus sort of thing? Because that would be kind of cool. You triggered my trap card. That would be a nice redeem. If I was a Yu-Gi-Oh player. I mean, I played Yu-Gi-Oh, but I'm not really a Yu-Gi-Oh person. Although, I guess, it fits because of this. So, bad guy's getting in here. Bad guy's getting in here. Yeah, I could see a virus phobia. I think that would be kind of interesting. 0 keys left for our hero, though. 2 keys. Oh, my God. 0 keys left for our hero. And there are bad things happening to them because of this sheep hit. And, of course, the invades that are going to supplement this were immediately following the previous Savage Noxious turn. But bad guy doesn't quite get all the takedowns that they were hoping for. Of course, they're only able to push a ton of damage, which is significant. Get the follow-up Zappy, but look at this corridor up here. This corridor that we've been waiting on all game, blam! Got him with the traps. That's a lot of tombstones. The hallway of fire! How did Fire Ant get disease? There was a foul. There was a foul early in the game. So this is very shortly going to be Hevo... Well, Hevo and team versus Zappy. Get the body block here, that makes sense. This honey bear never puked on anything. I don't understand why this honey bear came out. Like, at all. So Noxious does go down. The problem here is that bad guy can field some other little things just to, you know, try and recap points. But presumably we're going to get takedowns on these 3 in short order. And then you can just run around the map. The Zappy can't fight you. There's just no way for the Zappy to stop you. Did that really one-shot this? Wow. Wow. Zappy's running its way in there, but it's not going to be good enough, not fast enough. Get a little, pseudo-stabby action here. Our hero's actually just going for it to try and kill this. Oh. Oh, that is great! You get the boop! Get the boop into the trap! Ah, you love to see it! That was awesome. That was the best Noxious value. It was a really great Noxious hit. Like, that was a savage Noxious hit. Oh my god. That was a fun game, Pancake. That was a fun game. That was good. I like that. Imagine the Noxious part plus Gonzo. Yeah, Onda, that's brutal. Oh my god. That was fun. I don't even know what to say. I think you know what to say. You say, what is best in life? To crush your enemies, see them driven before you. Alright, we got a DT game. We got a DT game. I don't know if we're going to get to the dupes tonight, chat. We're going to try, but we'll see. Trap hallway. It worked. Meanwhile, Fire Ant died because of its own fire. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. It did act. It would have survived one more turn if it wasn't for its own trap. It is what it is. This one. Alright, so our hero here is sporting the Honey Bear DT. The Honey Bear avatar. DT has recently DT champions a lot of unique strategies, and as of late there have been a number of Honey Bear ones that have come up on the channel overall. But DT with the Honey Bear avatar. Solid. The only notes for this game are calculated. Alright, so we'll have to see what the calculated turn in question is, chat. I want to point out that rank points or phobie levels are very similar here. Okay. So does that play into the calculation? Like, you just knew that, okay, you can go in on something on some turn because they were equal? Alright. I think we know what's coming, chat. It's beauty.map. 8 keys. I wonder what's coming out. Place your bets. Now, DT went with Stabby. I typically try... now, but they're going second. This makes sense. You don't have to necessarily go Unicorn because you can still get a 4-key out. Beauty, of course, makes its appearance. Much more even matchup than most of my games. All right. Turn 2, I think, was the calculated turn, is your guess? Interesting choice. Bold choice there, Forgo. So here's the thing. Bad guy got this early beauty, right? But they're going to another 1 key, bank it a 5. They're not even... oh, I love it, DT. Okay, hold on. So multiple comments on this. Bad guy did not immediately, like... oh, look at that. Another Giraffe Bachelor. It's happening all the time now. Now that I noticed it, it's happening every time. So... you have bad guys, like, not pressing an advantage here, which, admittedly, maybe they can't, but it's relevant that they're not... I got my big guy, and it's just sitting here, guarding. Okay. Other point I wanted to make, gotta love when Smiley shows up. Gotta love when Smiley shows up. I started setting up Honey Bear plus Crushmore plus Venus plus Gesundheit on that stem on this map. That's a lot, but yes, that seems pretty good. That seems pretty good. I imagine we're going to get a Honey Bear shortly from DT. Clearly, this Smiley can protect a lot of stuff. For example, this Smiley just goes on the stem right now and says, all right, bwam me. I dare you. That's also a very weird sentence to say, chat. Bwam me. Long neck bachelor, it's true. Giraffe bachelor. But we're just going to trade 1 keys a little bit, apparently. Obviously, bad guy doesn't take the bait with the bwam. Maybe they did and they undid it. I don't know. We can't see that. But notably, DT broke this obstacle, which is interesting. It does allow other line of sight, But DT is not going for the honey bear, even though they have the avatar. Instead, we're getting a blast-o-matic. Now, presumably, there's not enough damage here on the board to kill the Smiley, but there could be with a murder wing. This is what I was going to say. Like, that's a lot of damage. Is this just a dead Smiley? They gotta invest the droney. Huh. So that's gonna be 5 keys for 5 keys eventually. But that feels like it isn't worth it. Obviously, the Smiley, the goal is to connect with the beauty. I don't think it ever was realistically going to. But maybe, is this the calculated turn? I calculated the damage with presumed... Wait, I calculated damage with presumed stim meatball and thought Smiley would barely survive. Yeah, it's tough when... If this was a level 11, it probably lives. Even with the droney. The droney surprised you? Okay, fair. Droney's one of those phobies that, like, it'll catch you in a game, you know, it steps on your resurrect phobia, it does something like this, whatever, and then you always remember droney for, like, your next 100 games. And then the 101st, you forget and droney gets you again. Or at least that happens to me. So we get an aggressive invade here backed up by this beauty, and understandably so, because bad guy can't, or rather, our hero can't really do too much. We do get a Bwom. And also, notably, you get the hit here, which is going to splash to the beauty, which is pretty cool. This droney has gotten 8 keys. I mean, yeah, you're not wrong. Now, bad guy was not able to get a... Wow, DT didn't commit anything to the board. Still 6 keys remaining. Bad guy is now repositioning. I'm skipping back and forth between turns, talking about different things. Ted is the final phobie for bad guy. Oh, baby, is this it? Oh, my God! 2 health. 2 health, chat. 2. Hold on, we gotta clip this. For all of you beauty haters out there, you may want to watch this turn. Beauty is a scourge on this map. To a lesser extent, Blasto is as well. But we're going to put that aside right now because our hero DT, sporting the Honey Bear avatar, is laying the beat down onto this beauty. And we're just going to pause it right here. Just to appreciate 136 fire damage, 134 remaining health. DT's notes for this game was just simply calculated. And he's saying in chat, this turn I added up all damage before actually doing anything. Well played, DT. Well played. That feels nice. When you get those sort of kills, it's just like chef's kiss. It feels so good. And it's funny because this beauty is in a position that it's like, hey, this is... Like, that's a safe position, right? What are they going to do? Well, they have 6 keys, which we called out a few minutes ago where I said, why is DT still sitting on 6 keys? Apparently, DT can see the future. Bwom! Probably an unnecessary Bwom, but still funny. It's actually not an unnecessary Bwom. It was probably for the damage. But this Blasto has got, like, still 1 billion health. Blasto's not beating, or Hevo's not beating Blasto. Yep. Opponent fell for their own trick. Yeah, you're not wrong. It's basically the same sort of play, whether it's Droney coming in or it's Snowball. GG, well played, DT. That was a well played game. It was a well played game. Didn't even need the Smiley to connect. Didn't even need the Smiley to connect. That's the crazy thing. Also, let's be honest, the Honey Bear profile pic looking sweet, yeah. Bees! What's funny is, like, GG. TT's got the Leshy avatar here, but it had the Honey Bear there, one there. Well done. That was very well done. Yeah, that was pretty cool, DT. DT has a bunch of avatars, true. I mean, if you got them, flaunt them, right? If you got it, flaunt it. All right, we got a little Big She action. I think Big She was hanging out in chat earlier. Speaking of avatars, the Bad Omen avatar. All right, our hero here on Hold Still is Big She. Great power at bad hands? Question mark? Question mark and inflection were not, in fact, in the notes. I'm questioning that. We'll have to see. Gotta keep it fresh. True, DT. Rotate the avatars. Speaking of avatars, we called it out before the game, but our hero here in the orange trunks, Big She, Bad Omen avatar. Seems good. Yeah, I've run into super pudding a few times in async. So both players are going with the Gravedigger opener. Obviously a supplement here with the Cassowary, but otherwise mirroring each other, which is notable. That's kind of interesting. Daisy is the follow-up. Can definitely appreciate it. Makes sense. You hate this map? I kind of like this map. I definitely have a different take on it personally as to how I go about playing this map than most people. We were talking about it the other night as I was losing a bunch of games. But I like this map. I think I like it. This map feels okay. So we were talking about this the other night, Urk, and I mean, it doesn't sound great because I was losing the games, but I lost the games not because of Gravedigger. I mean, Gravedigger was on my opponent's side and was very relevant in the wins for them, but it was relevant because of mistakes I made. I was playing around it and then just made some silly mistakes, and I should have won those games, and I don't think Gravedigger is required on this map. Regardless, in either case, we are seeing double Gravediggers here, so poison going down on said Gravedigger. Although, again, for something like this, I don't know how much it matters. And we get Firkin Leaperkarn. Why? Like, do you know... I don't know if Big She is in chat. But is Super Pudding, like, notorious for... like a specific phobia or something? Why an early Leaperkarn here? To Leaperkarn the Gravedigger? That doesn't seem right. That can't be it. There has to be... This is probably one of those scenarios where, oh, I know this player, and they always do this thing. So I'm going to preemptively Leaperkarn. You'll see it? Okay. So Big She's in chat. Big She's pointing out that, yeah, we got a little something waiting for you. So we'll see how this Leaperkarn comes into play. Most of the rest of this, you know, the jockeying for position, the particular phobies, I mean, you could interchange some of the one keys, but a lot of this is fairly standard from what we're seeing. Henrietta Poison is so underrated. Is it though? So we now understand why the Leaperkarn is here. Did you know this going in, Big She? You had to have known. So you want to poll? What if I say no? Now the thing is that this... Wait, time out. Why is the Akira in this spot? Why was the Akira in this spot? Like, it didn't have to be here. It didn't have to be here. It could have been here and been out of range, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. You know what's funny is I had to cut that laugh down because it was too long and I couldn't get it loaded to trigger fire. Get furked. We were just talking about why Big She decided to put this Firkin Leaperkarn on the board early. And then Akira decided to appear. And then Akira decided, I'm just going for it. And then Firkin Leaperkarn says, no, no, no. Get furked. Get furked. 8k points for the chomp. I upped a lot of them. They might come down for some of those, Onda, just because we just had people burning through points. And I was like, okay, I'm going to start high, and then I'll bring the things down. Click on the Firkin. I want to hear the laugh. There you go. Akira attack is really cool, though. Major Akira Bois. Yes. Well, no, this doesn't count as a Boim. A Boim has to be the laser. It has to make that noise. One of my flip some tables and throw plates at home this time. They're absolutely slamming their phone into the floor. They're absolutely slamming their phone into the floor. So we get Scritch as a follow-up. I didn't call that out before, I don't think. No, I didn't. How much longer does this thing have? Still 3 more turns. This Akira is never going to do it. It's never going to do anything. The Akira attack is so cool. His design is great, too. I don't know if the design is great from a mechanical standpoint, because I get the sense that it's just going to be so miserable. It's going to be so miserable. I like when he releases steam after using the ability. Wait, whose? Imagine if Akira attack animation with a Spirit Bomb from DBZ. Love how spooky he looks. So does that mean that Beauty and Blastomatic have to get a Kamehameha attack? For the record, I know almost like nothing about DBZ other than the memes. Looks like an infection coming out of his face in his right half. Yeah, you wonder, like, what was... Is, like, Akira a different... So, time out. Does anybody remember the Animorph books? Or, like, there's a lot of things, but this is where my mind went. The Animorph books, where the main characters were Animorphs. They get special powers where they can transform into animals. But the main bad guys, they were basically like parasites that would mind control people. And they wanted this power to transform. What if, like, Peschetti... This is the disease from Peschetti, and, like, that's how it reproduces. Because doesn't this look like Peschetti tentacles coming out? Like, I don't know, I'm just saying. But yes, Chad is accurately pointing out as I'm digressing. Mr. Tramples and Scritch are on the board. So there's some funny things, I think, that are going to abound. Speaking of beauty and other tentacles. Can I just say that I do love the beauty propulsion animation where its tentacles are functioning or whatever you would... I guess you'd refer to them as tentacles. It's like propelling it by being a propeller to a degree. Now, here's the thing. Batting point advantage is in favor of bad guy. The Akira is probably going to be live soon. But not really. Like, it's going to be live soon, but it's not really ever going to get live. Okay, it is. All right, Urk, what are you going to do? Because you absolutely need to just not be anywhere near the pits right now. We're getting a juiced Leaperkarn? Oh my god, is this really happening? No way. No way! Wow! Chat, we've officially seen it all. We saw a juiced Leaperkarn kill a beauty. Wow. Yeah, that's Kate Rock worthy. Wow. That's some real shit. Yeah, you're getting furked, just in a different way. Here's the thing, so this is live now, isn't it? Wasn't it live on last turn? Like, hold on. Isn't this live right now? This is live right now. They could poll. I guess the poll is just not valuable, given their positioning. Scritch is real good. I mean, Scritch isn't bad. It's just difficult to utilize. So there you go. Like, can't do it. Still want to pull? Nope. Get furked. Beauty's getting bullied today? It's true. It's true. How long until people start calling for beauty buffs, chat? You think that's going to happen? Now you understand why great power, bad hands? Yes, it makes a lot more sense. People are going to love that one. People love the laugh. I'm telling you, it was originally like 15 seconds long, but the clips were just too long. I couldn't upload them. I want to see the Scritch empower a Tramples to just run amok. How mad is your opponent right now, Big She? Like, I got this Akira. I'm gonna go crap on some nerds. Hold on, I have to pause it because this is about to be cool. But how mad is your opponent? It's like, I got Akira. I'm gonna go crap on some nerds. And then it's just like, no, the fuck you're not. No, you're not. Oh my god, what are you doing to him? Oh my god. This whole game is just highlight after highlight after highlight. We had some really good games tonight. A lot of them. Oh my god. You gotta look at this turn from Big She. This is brutal. You get the Scritch repositioning to power up Mr. Tramples. You don't see that every day. You don't see that every day. And Mr. Tramples is just running wild. Mr. Tramples turning into the Macho Man Randy Savage. And then you get the follow-up from the rest of the team just tagging in everybody else. And just clobbering Akira. I need a really high-quality image of Leprechaun with a middle finger at Akira. That is savage! That is pretty savage. You're not wrong. You are correct. Now, they pay with their lives here, but, I mean, even if somehow Big She lost this game, which it's not going to happen, but let's say Big She lost this game somehow. Big She actually won this game in our hearts. In here. Actually, I think, honestly, the running wild thing, I think, was a Hulk Hogan thing. I think it was Hulkamania is going to run wild on you or something like that, but it's been a long time. Plus, the Macho Man is funnier. Yeah, the Akira attacked once, and that was literally it. It was literally it. It attacked down here. Like, it got an attack down here, and we're like, oh, that's cool animation. Then it just basically ran away, and then died to fucking Leprechaun. Like, I've legitimately tried to, for a while, I was getting bad with cursing a lot on stream, and I've been trying to rein it back in, but that felt like, look, it's a fucking Leprechaun, and it just dropped the hammer. It's asserting authority. All right. Good God. All right, we'll do a morbid game, and then we're back at redoing stuff. So we'll start with dogewhal, because dogewhal was a sub after that for the repeats tonight. We'll try and get in as many as we can. All right, our hero here is Morbid Fates in the orange trunks. A little Tickles for bait, and bad guy ate it right up. Who gets baited by Tickles? Who gets baited by Tickles? What did Tickles do to you that you hate Tickles enough to I don't know. That like Tickles is arguably the... Is there a phobie in the game that is more innocent looking than Tickles? Seriously, chat, or YouTube. Let me know down in the comments. While you're down there, like and subscribes, by the way. But seriously, like, is there a phobie that's more innocent looking than Tickles? Yeah, so the game review redemption thing, I'm not going to do on review nights, Onda. I would just refund the points. If we have time, like, maybe, but... It's not officially on cooldown, like, you could do it, but I'll just refund the points. Because it's too much, like, micromanaging to do that. So we're getting fairly standard stuff from our hero Morbid here. Clearing out some one-drops definitely makes sense. I've talked about this a lot. It's been a while since we've talked about it, though, but I do not like creep as a response to stabby. And especially in this sort of position, it's like, okay, great. I'm just gonna muffin this thing. Especially because here, you don't even have to move it. So this stabby is gonna kill this creep. If it really has to, it'll get help. The jar will reposition. And then you just muffin. And, alright, we're gonna move on with our lives. Like, unless she is a fabulous tree beast, that is accurate. Morbid's fighting a farmer. Why? Because of the spud? He's got corn and potatoes. True. True. We need, like... Should there be an actual farmer phobie chat? And it buffs all farm-related phobies? The droney... Okay, so jokes aside, the droney here is bold. I get the triple panic point advantage, but that feels like you're just incinerating 2 keys for almost no value. It just doesn't seem necessary there. Now, at this point, this stabby is in range to die. You can get a hit from this, hit from this, hit from this, hit from this. I mean, you can kill the cat, but our hero's pulling back. This is a small map. 2-to-1 panic point advantage. You're not under a ton of pressure. And we're going to get the cassowary. Are we going to get a bank? We do get a bank, so this allows our hero, of course, to get the 4 keys. Start getting some more relevant things online. You need to kind of build up your forces for this push. It is a 2-to-1 panic point advantage, but bad guy has not maxed out, so you can't really trap them at this point. That means a farmer would buff every trap you have because you're farming those traps. That would be kind of funny. I think a phobie that buffs traps that are already on the board would probably be too dangerous, truthfully. Russell's a farm animal. Is Edgar, then? So we're just trading 1 keys here. Hero and bad guy both banked to 9, so this is very interesting. Why? Why is there a Temptress right now? Seriously, I don't understand the Temptress. There's a mechanical phobie, but it's jar. Like, I don't understand the Temptress at all. This is a level, I just looked at. It's a level 11 Temptress. I understand the notes that were put there about the tickles being bait, but it kind of feels like bad guy just threw right here by almost incinerating 4 keys. I feel like Temptress needs a buff. Temptress has to get a buff, right? We talked about it the other night. I think an electrical damage buff could be valuable, maybe some health. Ooh. Speaking of Russell, get a little Russell action here. Little Russell action. Problem is that there is a poison phobie here. Our hero is clustered. Alright, they're spreading out a little bit. Really? Why? That can't possibly be right. Yeah, you don't even need to use it. You don't even need to use the caw. Just get in there and AoE the hell out of their team. Yeah, the bait worked. Why? Why did that happen? Was that Tickles really that important? I don't know about that one. Last phobie from our hero is a murder wing. Clinico is the last one for bad guy. I don't think bad guy is necessarily out of this, because remember, the stabby's a little damaged, but now you caught... Okay, this is actually strategically kind of cool, because you caught... One of them's undead. You're only going to be able to heal one of these. This is relevant. Yeah, they have to have some serious PTSD. They're having some awful flashbacks as a result of... Wait, didn't they just use Clinico last turn? I mean, obviously not, but that's weird. Yeah, bad guy. Don't try this at home, kids. Don't try this at home. Yeah, the Clinico just came out, but I thought they healed it because stuff took damage. I mean, I was so stunned by the other stuff, I just completely threw me off. I just don't... This is just fascinating, chat. Like, absolutely fascinating that that's how this went down. Well played, Morbid. Well played. That's, I mean, that's a way for the game to end. I can tell you that much. This game is, in fact, over. I honestly thought we were going to get through the whole game without the call even going off, which would have been ridiculous, but... Russell attack is so cool. I love hearing the crow sound. Yeah, all of the stuff about Russell is really cool. I talk about a lot that the Phobies team has done a great job on the art direction, all that sound design, all that kind of stuff. But it really is very strong with the higher cost Phobies, which makes sense. You want those to be big and impressive and splashy, the ultra rares and stuff. They have to be cool. Because otherwise, it's just underwhelming when you get them. Especially if, you know, you get something like Russell where it's not necessarily strategically as strong, but it is powerful and entertaining and fun. It is fun to play Russell, even if it's not necessarily strategically sound in a given game. All right, so we're into duplicate territory. If you want to get your own game reviewed, hit up the Random Thoughts Discord and the live stream down in the description. Of course, likes and subscribes while you're down there. Should have said that a lot in the earlier games. I'm curious how many people... Let me know in the comments if you made it this far in the video. So, we got dogewhal as our hero. We're back on hold still. The notes here are... Yep, that's me. Bet you're wondering how I got in this situation. Well, we had some other funny stuff happening over the course of tonight, so we will definitely see how this goes. So we get... Wait, time out. Oh, that sucks. So the Gravedigger... Wait, you would have been here? 1, 2, 3, 4... No, this could have been safe. Why did they take this spot with the droney and not the center? I don't know. Because a lot of people have mentioned this, that on this map, you can droney right to the middle. And, I mean, I don't hate it. I don't really like it. But it's not awful, because then you can zip droney up to here or over here afterwards, and it's just like, okay. But I don't see any reason to send droney to take this point, and then now you're stuck with a droney. It's chewing up a spot on your team. It's, you're not fully utilizing the movement. It just felt like 2 wasted keys. The Gravedigger was intimidating? I guess, but like, that's why I double-checked, because in order for the Gravedigger to break this block, it can't get in range on the follow-up turn to hit the droney. Other than that, a lot of this stuff looks fairly standard. You know, we're getting 1 keys, we're getting daisies, we're getting snowballs, we're getting Gin Sting. Although a lot of people outside of me do not like snowball on this map, it seems. I don't know. Bad guys following up with a Moffat. For those of you watching the hunt stream, the spider. Speaking of spiders, squish that spider. That spider's dead. Chad, I've been getting presented a lot of videos about huntsman spiders in Australia. Those things are enormous. And they seem somewhat aggressive if they even remotely think that they're threatened. Ah, we got a Speedola. Speedola. What's my favorite 1 and 2 key? I think it depends. Are you talking favorite, like, it's my personal favorite because I like the phobie, or is it my favorite as in most useful? Like one that puts in the most work. Oh, this is a cool play. Well done here, dogewhal. Get the kill, get the yoink, get the block. Gotta love it. Now, the Gravedigger does pay for its sins here. But I think that's valuable enough. Alright, so. Some administrative stuff so I can make notes for, well, when I'm editing this later. So the Gravedigger was bait, is what's getting said by our hero in chat. And I think I see where this is going. Getting a little snipage going down here. I think most of us would happily trade Gravedigger for Spider in virtually all scenarios. You can tell us what I personally like. I like Cassowary a lot. I like its 2 costs. K9000. I think those are probably my favorite 2s. I'm telling you, this droning just felt like such a waste. The Speedola wasn't great either. 1s I'd have to think about because they're all very interchangeable for me. So Bad Guy has populated their team with their own Gravedigger, getting rid of this block, but that's not even enough damage to kill this jar yet. 4-1 panic point advantage, but this can't possibly be good for... This cannot possibly be good for Bad Guy, this positioning, right? You are just way too close to our hero here for this to be in a good spot. So down goes Daisy. Down goes K9. Down goes Cassowary. Are we going to get further takedowns? Oh my god. Like, that was just not a good turn for Bad Guy. That was brutal. I mean, yes, it's a 4-1 panic point advantage, but just look at the board state. There's no coming back from this. This is just a beatdown. This is just a beatdown. Down goes Speedola. I mean, there can be some retaliation from Bad Guy here, but not really meaningfully. Oh, are you guys talking about when Russell got the buff? Down goes Ray. Got him. Here's where Bad Guy has accepted their fate. It's the... I have to wonder if at some point there will be a phobie where it's universally accepted that when this phobie hits the board, your opponent is conceding. So, like, okay, let's get on with it. Let's end the game because you know what's happening. Cerberus kind of feels like that. Cerberus kind of feels like that. Because, especially in this position. And the problem with that sort of idea is, of course, if somebody spawns it early enough in the game, maybe they think it really is their best chance. But, like, yeah. Cerberus as, well, I mean, Contortio I think was technically the last Phobie, but Cerberus basically being the last Phobie, this is not going well for you. They still tried to win. I mean, you can try, but I don't think there's any way that you're making that happen from this board state. I just don't think there's any way they can come back from here. You're just picking them apart. That one turn was just brutal, and it really was the preceding turn where bad guy just walked into your team. And it's like, that's just not necessary. Why did you do that? Baby, what is you doing? Jar goes down, but, yep, not good enough. I don't know if this is necessarily trying to win as opposed to bad guys trying to get additional resources, because it's like, okay, I can kill the jar, get a few more XP / tiers, and then just go after the rest. Could you not have left this there? Yeah, I actually had to move it. This is a level 9 Cerberus. And just like that, our hero takes it. Well played, dogewhal. Yoink! Got him! Alright, so again, more dupes. Apparently dupes of Hold Still. Hero is Sivadas in the blue trunks. Announcer voice again. Here, announcer voice again. This is a request from the notes. Ding, ding, ding. Round 2 for the Metal Crush brothers. They thick. I mean, they kind of are. What's funny is I think this was also on this map where we saw the Sivadas tag team. Could be wrong. Could be wrong. Get a little hydrate action. I was like, oh, cool, Speedola. They must be playing blue next turn. They didn't. Yeah, it never happened. What they should do is raise the quest rewards each rank you go up. Yeah, like, the stuff you get for the, like, the stress levels at the 5s, like 55, 65, 75, etc. Those should probably impact more things. Those should impact more things. So notably, calling into the actual game, we get a very explosive high mobility opener from our hero here, both Snowball and Droney. The Droney coming out here, we're getting the 3-2 panic point advantage early. Murder Wing and Cat supplementing it, but you can't really fight into this too well yet. So you can't really threaten, oh, well, I'm at a huge panic point advantage early on. All right, Doge, have a good night. Thanks for coming by. This is interesting. The reason I say it's interesting is, like, you're going to kill this and then just give the panic. This is like on the small maps, where if your opponent has a 1 key they can immediately replace yours with after they eliminate yours, and trivially, such as here, you're just losing your 1 key for no reason. Alright, we got the blue Speedola. Speedola. Got a little Speedola action. Showing up 2 games in a row, but we'll see what this one does. My guess is that it does a little bit better than the last guys. Unfortunately, we see a little cooked dog down here. Or up here, I guess. Unfortunately, our hero's losing the snowball somewhat trivially. That feels like one of my mistakes. That feels like one of my mistakes. Probably didn't have to happen. Could have just repositioned these back a little bit. They're all very mobile. But we do get the double Speedola tag team coming out. This Speedola doesn't care about the fire. Is this a dead snowball? It should be, right? It should be a dead snowball. Yep. Notably, it takes down the freaking, it takes down the Droney. But because of the movement, this Speedola, remember, started the turn, like, down here. 4-1 panic point advantage. Got these big Speedola butts hanging out. Erratic is an answer. Is it the right answer? We're about to find out. Bad guy does have some fairly tanky phobies of their own, notably Evo, K9 obviously for its cost. You're getting the beats going down here. If you go in, there's a risk that the Speedola does get slammed, but we'll see. Quest rewards do increase the stress level just like Jacks. The problem is the packs and VATs don't, so they lose value. True. So down goes the K9. Panic point advantage still in favor of our hero, and we have Blue Speedola ready and willing to pound on the heart here. Muffin follow-up. Along with, I like the spider. The Muffin is interesting. I get it. I get it. Is it really necessary? I guess it kind of is. We've seen a few Muffins in the last few games that came down arguably early or in abnormal scenarios. Like Muffin to cure a poison or something like that is obvious, but these Muffins in these scenarios are a little bit odder, although they definitely make sense. So bad guys' game plan is to fight the big fat with their own big fat. This time the gator, big, chunky, and thick. Get a little regen going. It's interesting here that also the Speedola is just going face. Still 4k health, and while it can tank a bunch of hits, it's not invulnerable. So we get some additional... This is just a dead Jin Sting. Alright, Jin Sting just gets sniped. Did that Jin Sting even have to be there? 13. Yeah, so they left the Jin Sting there to hit this and just didn't accept the damage that was on the table. Like, the damage was there and ready to go and just didn't... I mean, I make those mistakes all the time, but it's still notable to point out, like, you could have just hit it once and walked away. You didn't have to stay there. So the Speedolas are just going ham at this stage. Although notably Blue is had enough at this point. Clinico coming in. That's a lot of mechanicals, but it really doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. There's a lot of pressure on the heart. Yes, panic point going the other way, but I just don't know what bad guy does from here. The Speedolas are just so chunky. They're so chunky. I mean, they're trying to stage something here, and this isn't unreasonable. Our hero doesn't really have something in position to truly make it, like, okay, we can absolutely just pummel you. Don't have a panic point advantage, so you can't just necessarily play completely back. But the Clinico does get its heal. The huge movement range of these guys being showcased here. This is interesting with the Stairmaster. Like, I get you can swing up this way, but... There's no way bad guy saw this coming. If this is a takedown, there's no... This has to be a takedown, yeah. There's no way bad guy saw this coming. There's just no shot, chat. There's no way they saw that. I know that the Speedolas have been rolling around the map basically the whole game. Just like all over the place. But I guarantee bad guy had no idea that that Speedola and this combination of stuff was going to roll up and beat up their erratic. Just, there's no chance. And with that, panic point advantage for our hero. They do take down the Speedolas, so that powers down. Wow, that's actually a cool animation when they power down. That's kind of cool. Like, that is relevant. That is relevant. Hollow Windy. Oh, I forgot people were playing that game. I honestly forgot that game existed, Taco. Rock and roll, or you could say it was a Rickroll. So they're going to go from being wrestlers to a Rickroll meme for the Speedolas? Well, they went from being wrestlers to being a throat lozenge commercial to being now they're Rickrolls. I love the attack animation on Red Speedola. It looks cool. This just felt like a showcase of Sivadas being able to just pick bad guy apart almost at will. There were turns where it was like, okay, I can see where bad guy's starting to stage something. But then it was, okay, Sivadas now comes back with a haymaker and snipes the erratic or takes out this or bullies them this way. It's like, oh, they got the spider here. Well, congratulations. The rest of your team is going to get annihilated. You kill the Stairmaster here, and it's like, okay, you have basically nothing left. Yeah, I don't know what bad guy was supposed to do at different points in this game, other than don't get your guys yoinked. So the bait early on that got the spider kind of put the events in motion, because bad guy was on the back foot from there on out, basically. I don't really know what else they could do. The heart's just absolutely getting pulverized. I imagine that Sivadas is just going for it. Yeah, this is the last turn. GG. Well done, Sivadas. And notably, no Gravedigger or Crushmore for Sivadas. Admittedly, there were other factors in this game that contributed to Sivadas' victory. Namely, you know, you could just... all of the reasons we were just talking about. But it proves you can win without those particular abilities on this map. Alright, so our hero here is Pancake, and the notes for this are sometimes when you go fishing, you just need bigger bait. So... we're getting back to Opticon here. We're getting back to Opticon. Bad guy is once again doing some weird stuff. I don't get these multiple one-drop openers sometimes. They seem kind of weird. Our hero here is... yes, it's multiple one-drops, but with backup for other... okay, now it's getting a little weird. Never mind. I was going to say, okay, you got Snowball, plus it's 2 1 keys and you bank or something like that. But now it's triple 1 key into triple 1 key plus Snowball. I don't know. There's a lot of strange things. This is a dead Snowball? Oh, no. Not like this. Not like this. That's actually brutal. Sacking it like that is pretty brutal. Pretty brutal. So, we will get a retaliation here. We get a retaliation here, but it's not quite the same as taking out the Snowball. It's not quite the same. So we're just trading out 1 keys. Panic point advantage, bad guy, obviously. But the big thing is that it's Snowball and Jar versus basically just Jar, because these other 1 keys are going to trade out. 6 keys banked, so what's our hero going to do? Yeah, the Snowball thing, personally for me, I would have started tilting, like off the face of the earth kind of thing. I mean, I've done it on stream before where it's just like, okay, I am completely losing it right now because something like that happened. Because it feels much worse than it probably is. It is significant, but ultimately, we're stabilizing. Our hero does need to reclaim some of these points, but they've had to expend an enormous amount of keys in all of these one-key phobies just to try and claim stuff. Is this a dead snowball? I mean, it could be. Really? Huh. That's a dead snowball. Follow up with Innocuous. All right, so we trade out snowballs, essentially. We're now, like... We're basically even, for the most part, because we traded the snowballs. There was some damage going down. I don't really know why this Ray came out. I mean, yeah, I guess, to deal with Hevo, but... Ray being so flimsy. What do I think about the Noxious here? I think the Noxious was because of... They didn't expect the takedown here, and it was probably just to deal with a bunch of the one-drops and clear it out. Noxious isn't bad overall. Like, yes, there's mechanicals, but you could single targeting with Noxious is not ideal, but it's not awful. Plus, it's mobile because of the flying. I can see the reason why Bad Guy went with it, but I don't... There had to have been something better. There had to have been something better that you could do. Like, that's not optimal. Really? Okay. I mean, sure. You clearly lose the Noxious. Our hero's gonna have to retreat because they... You know, you don't want to have stuff die. We get a Metabot. Really? Okay, this is bold. There's a lot happening in this turn. Wow. That, I don't know if that was the bait turn. But that was, if this was the bait turn, this was a solid bait. So the notes here indicated that there was a heavy bait here, and this might be it. Draws in the Noxious, which admittedly didn't poison all that much, but it got this AoE, this clustered 4-hit. Metabot comes in to cure the poison, you get a snipe on the jar. Clearly the Noxious was going to be sacrificial, but that's not all that goes down. You also get the Daisy. This is a really strong turn from Pancake. This is really solid. Well done. I seen this in the Phobies main Discord. Pancake sent it there. So this was the turn, Onda? Because that, I mean, that's a really good turn. I think that was, I mean, you can make the argument that any bait is a function of your opponent screwing up, right? Like, your opponent messed up, so they took the bait, and therefore you were able to penalize them. Okay. I think this one's on another half a level, or maybe a full level, where I don't have the foggiest idea why the hell Bad Guy went in with that Noxious. The Noxious was already not great. It was okay, but not fantastic. But, like, why go after that cluster of 4... It just, I don't know. What level is the Grimes? Level 9. Level 9. Alistor. Something we haven't seen in a while. Alistor kind of dropped off a cliff after the nerf. Yeah, Bad Guy's tempo is just absolutely broken here. I don't think there's anything they can do at this stage. They just don't have enough damage. As long as you're careful, you need to pick off, like, one more phobie, and then the Alistor is, like, unkillable. This is at 744 damage, but you gotta get, like, one more phobie, and then the Alistor is effectively immortal. Interesting hitting the Muffin. Because there's no way to kill the muffin right now. I mean, I guess it'll force a sacrifice, but I probably would have hit the Grimes and just said, okay, sack the muffin now. That's true, Forgo, but it is a funny number. It is one of the many funny numbers. We do finally get the muffin going down. Grimes can't one-shot the Innocuous, but it doesn't matter. This was well played, Pancake. Well done. It looked messy at the beginning. It looked real messy at the beginning, but able to take it down. Well played, GG. That one turn was absolutely brutal. We've had a few of those tonight where it's just like that one turn and everything gets messy. Our hero here is Kratosss, zoning into crypto. The Rap Master is here, and thank you for your work. Much love. Well, much love to all the viewers out there, especially you on YouTube. Hit me with a like and subscribe if you're enjoying this stuff, by the way. Seriously, it helps. I'm trying to hit 1,000 subscribers. We'll see if we can do it. That looked like the Metabot burped out the heal in the last game. Not wrong. Not wrong. So, we're getting an early bank from Kratosss here for the Baba Ha. Bank also from Bad Guy. For a Crushmore. Alright. I mean, we've seen a lot of Gravediggers on this map. We've seen a lot of Gravediggers on this map. I can understand the value in the Crushmore. But it's still a little weird. Like, this is absolutely abnormal compared to what we've seen, even on crypto games earlier tonight, but in general. So this is, once again, same sort of thing that I was talking about either in the last game or definitely said it a couple times tonight and in the past. This cat is just going to die. And then this cat replaces. And you're down as the first mover in this scenario. Like, you are behind because now you have to move something up because of the other things that were taken. Namely, they wanted to get the jar online to poke at the Baba Yaga, I guess. Which is fine. Tried to bait jar, but he didn't fall for it. I mean, yeah. I don't think they were going to on these turns, if that's what you were talking about. Maybe you mean later in the game. We're getting... So we get the double trap setup here. And it is important. I talked about this a little earlier. I used to be a big believer in just put the traps on the damn panic points. You know your opponent's going to step there. But most trappers will not kill one drops. As you can see, it's 590. This is 620 on the, once again, Giraffe Bachelor. Meaning that it doesn't do anything. Especially with the stim right here, it's like, oh, I saved one hit. Well, who cares? It's meaningless. So putting them here and doing things, oh no, the Bane of Baba Ha. We got a little Tickles action. And this actually, I don't know if Bad Guy expected the trap to be there. Presumably they did, just simply because of where Baba Ha was positioned. But they do, in fact, eat a trap. Ultimately, we're trading panic points. Gravedigger is doing the same thing that Crushmore's doing on the other side. Neither player is investing in a Honey Bear. It may not be available. This seems weird. You could get the Baba Yaga, or the Baba Yaga could get the jar, rather, but obviously the jar then, or the Baba Yaga dies because of follow-up. So Alistor is the answer here. So for those who are immediately going to ask, Trap Absorber, if it's standing at the end of your turn, odds are this is a heads-up play by Kratosss that you're not going to have the Tickles stay in that spot. It's probably going to recap the mid. So therefore, putting it here is arguably safe. Giraffe Bachelor now in Channel Tradition, true. So being able to snipe the jar is a big deal. Yes, you're going to lose this murder wing. Oh, no. Bad guy's in for a bad day. I don't think... They must have... Either they didn't care or they didn't see it coming. But you get the trap going down. That means that both Baba Yaga and the Innocuous can actually tag this Crushmore now. 1,300 health, so it's not going to die. But there's a risk there. There is a risk there. Jar coming out to supplement the forces. Panic point advantage, bad guy. 4 keys to 6. Let's see how this goes. Spider is the penultimate phobie. Makes sense. It makes sense. So our hero is going to have to make something happen. We could see a 3 and a 1. It's possible we just get 4 keys here. Like a singular 4 key. This is very interesting. So, you can understand the setup here. Presumably, Alistor wipes out the Gravedigger. If the Spider comes in... Well, here's the thing. They're probably going to have to choose between Gravedigger and Innocuous or Baba Yaga, because they're not going to be able to, most likely, deal enough damage to yoink and kill everything. And then it would have activated the traps. But in this case, they're actively pulling the Spider back and just picking apart the forces of our blue player here. So removing the 1 keys makes sense. I mean, what else are you going to do? Jin Sting repositioning. It is the final phobie for Kratosss here. Yep. As mentioned in chat, all obstacles, completely naked map here on Crypto. If you're not counting Spa Sim and Lava, yeah. I mean, we were talking about the obstacles. This is a bold move. So the trap here makes sense. That's where the Spider has to go. In order for the Crushmore and the Alistor to hit, it's going to have to... They have to be in range of trap... Well, I take it back. It's actually pulling it here. Never mind. I was going to say they're going to have to be in range of trap collateral damage, but that's not true. However, the Crushmore is... It's only slightly damaged, but it is in range of Jar now. Can you get both? Not quite. Not quite. So this is still a little dicey. And this is probably a dead Jin Sting. Oh, no. Oh, no. Bad guy. They absolutely were trying to dodge a trap here on the panic point. They were 100% trying to dodge that. Oh, no. And just like that. Well done. Well done. Bad guy outsmarted themselves, I think. In all seriousness, I think bad guy outsmarted themselves. They said to themselves, Self, there's definitely a trap on the stim. There's definitely, or on the panic point. There's definitely a trap on the panic point. We're going to move to this other tile that's had a trap sitting since, like, turn 4. Got him. Got him. You can check out my new TikTok account. Definitely hit up the Random Thoughts Discord, of course. YouTube and all the other places. Still trying to hit 1,000 subscribers. We'll be back at the end of the week. Well, we're going to be back tomorrow for Variety. Pokemon is the game plan right now. We'll see if that happens. I will be back at the end of the week, barring catastrophe. There are going to be some other nights later this month, or days later this month, that I will miss streaming. I'll let you know as we get closer. But right now, the tentative plan, I mentioned it before, is that we're going to have the next Fright Night event on the first Saturday in February. I believe it's the 4th. I have to double check, but that's the tentative game plan. I will continue to announce it in Discord as we get closer. I also want to try and get the grudge match stuff up and running, but I need to clarify a couple more things with the devs. Plus, I want to get Fright Night out of the way, or at least scheduled and up and running sort of thing before we tackle something else. But that's going to do it for this time. So I appreciate everybody coming out. Definitely a lot of fun. Definitely a lot of cool games. But as always, everybody, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. And Black Lives Matter.